That's a little aggressive because now we don't have a bubble for our next engage. And we don't have a bubble on this Ana. She could have definitely slept us. I'm surprised she didn't. Hello everyone and welcome to another DHanHan video. My name's DHanHan and today we're going to be looking at a Rammatra Platinum tank player. Alright, so I prefer going down bottom here, but it looks like we're going to go up top through a small choke. It's going to be very tough with a Hanzo there. Okay, we definitely went into the Nemesis form too early. This is going to give us absolutely no pressure to push now. You want to make sure you're using Nemesis to sustain longer in the fight or to push the fight to an end. You don't really want to use it early because then you go back down to your 450 middle of the fight and you're going to die quicker compared to the other tanks. Looks like we're also not really pushing with a purpose. We're just kind of standing around and waiting for something to happen. As a tank player, we need to make some definite decisions so that we're able to hold the space we want to hold and so our team can get the picks we want to get. As a tank, you should also be like the front line. So I see that we're grouping up here. Yeah, but being here is probably somewhere better to stand. Again, we're using our pummels way too early, and by the time we're finished with this, we're now going to be 450 health with a Discord on us and have to retreat. Because Reinhardt has no range, we want to be using Rammatra's range to pressure out his shield, and then once Reinhardt's shield gets pressured out, we're able to pressure him more to the point where we can pop Nemesis to finish him off. Just like that. Yeah, we're using the pummel wrong, the Nemesis form wrong for sure. It's not supposed to be an initiating fight thing. If you're going to do that, you might as well just play Reinhardt and use a hammer, so you're technically always in Nemesis form. Are we gonna use our ult here, or are we gonna wait? Okay. So it looks like the enemy just messed up there, and it wasn't really skill on our end. They kind of just walked into us while we used our Rammatra ult, which is their bad. Reinhardt definitely could have held a shield up to block it too. And we used our Rammatra skill early again, so now we're not going to have it when Reinhardt's trying to push back out. Luckily he dies. That's good. Yeah, don't be afraid to stay in your Pharaoh form a lot more as Rammatra. You don't have to always go punch gung-ho. The main value you get out of it is the 225 health upon transformation. Think of it like a Junker Queen shout or a Roadhog take a breather, because Rammatra does plenty of damage in his normal primary fire. He just feels a lot more bulkier and has a block in his Nemesis form. And make sure another way to get the most out of playing Rammatra, you want to make sure you're bringing up your shield before swapping into his Nemesis form, because that will allow you to have more abilities on the board. It's kind of like a Zenyatta Transcendence in that matter, where you want to make sure you're using the Discord on someone before you go into Transcendence. Okay, and then For there, we used our ultimate before we swapped back to Pharaoh form. You want to go back to Pharaoh form and then swap back into Rammatra form to gain another 200 health, especially if you've already lost that armor while in Nemesis form. It's a tech that high level players use to give themselves, instead of just the 200 health, technically during the fight a Rammatra could get an extra 400 health. I would have preferred you wait to use your Nemesis form there until after the Rammatra finishes his, because that will put him in a vulnerable position, and then you can finish him with your pummels, rather than you both using it and getting nothing out of it on either side. Ooh. That's okay. That was a last-ditch effort to get somewhere. Overall, I think it's just usage of the Nemesis form that we need to work on. And early on, we didn't push with purpose. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you guys want to see more of this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do post videos every week to help you guys climb. If you have a video that you want me to look at, just comment it down below and I'll get to it. And if you think Genji needs a nerf, type hashtag nerf Genji. I wouldn't really hold fire truck here. I'm hoping we're holding dumpster. Yep, right there. We could poke for some ult charge here, but it's not necessary. Alright, looks like they have a Winston now. I don't know why we went AFK there, but I think that definitely was a reason that we lost that point. Just try not to go AFK if you can help it. There, I think we got caught out and we weren't necessarily grouped up. When they capped this point over here, we definitely needed to group up, and you guys probably should have started on this high ground here, so that once they pushed in, you guys actually, you know, could stay alive, and it's harder for the enemy team to pressure high ground. Because you were caught out here and the rest of your team was kind of split up back here, but Winston's able to jump back here and cause pressure. You're isolated down here. Genji can go up on high ground, and now the Winston and the Genji are working together to get the rest of the team. And it's all because you guys weren't all grouped up to tank the dive initially. So just make sure you group up and you find the next location to hold. And on Midtown, it's going to be that high ground after they cap first point. You want to play Midtown like Walsh Point, Gibraltar. Because second point, more or less, is the same as first point, Gibraltar. I would probably go back up to high ground here, just so that we're stopping them from getting the high ground themselves. You always want to try and stop the enemy from taking any space that might help them in the fight. And I think high ground's going to be a big help to it. Now, we did kind of go gung-ho as soon as Genji went in for a Nano Blade. Probably the best thing we could have done there is just to stall out card as long as possible, because maybe we could get a recontest going. Looks like we're not going to get a recontest, though. Now we're just trying to not stagger here. You don't want to stagger here because it's going to make the enemy push their payload to here, at least for free. And you're not really going to have any setup for it. And you're going to probably now just have a last recontest fight because you guys all just got staggered. If you ever realize that the enemy just capped and you just ended up in this spawn, you can just hit the F button and you'll teleport to the other spawn. So just make sure you do your best to try and group up with the team so that you're not staggering, because staggering just causes the opposing team to get a huge push value. We can hold out this corner since this corner's a little bit fine and a little closer to point. This is that's a little aggressive because now we don't have a bubble for our next engage. And we don't have a bubble on this Ana. She could have definitely slept us. I'm surprised she didn't. Okay, that's all right. All right, that was a bit of a throw because we overextended. You definitely wanted to use some cover there to get around and not get hit by the sleep so easily. Because now we're having a recontest fight, which is going to be a little challenging. I probably would not have tried to face tank the Zenyatta since he does a lot of damage, especially with that Discord doing 25% damage. I probably would have just tried to play it slow because you guys do have spawn advantage in that scenario. The spawn you guys have here is a lot closer than what the spawn is over here. So here, instead of going super high over here, I probably would have tried to play it slow and only try getting hit by the Winston here. If I only am getting tased by the Winston, I'm going to die a lot slower than, you know, what happened here. And this will allow the Lucio to get back and help us. Maybe I could be pressuring this Hanzo so my Tracer didn't get headshot. And now we're kind of just trickling in because we didn't give ourselves the spawn advantage. This could have easily been a 3v3 had we not gone in too deep without shield on the Zen. I probably would have just waited until I had shield to maybe do some big play like that. But again, you guys had spawn advantage, so you definitely just needed to stall this out. And the entire purpose of playing defense is to just slow out the fights as long as possible because you want to make sure that this time dwindles down. You want to have really slow fights on defense, and then on attack, you guys want to try to end every fight as fast as possible. So it looks like what you were doing here is playing attack on defense, when really you shouldn't be doing that because defense always has an advantage over attack because they always have an ability up because the opposing team usually has to use an ability to attack us. If you want to see another Rammatra video, click on the video. As always, I hope this helps, and happy climbing.